for the disaster mitigation applications, CloudTop to provide quality education for remote communities, RxPax, healthcare for our barrios, Bayanihan Nets, an innovative way to provide internet connectivity to communities, and LEAP to sustain the operations of our call center industry. More recently, with our international collaborations, we have been working on next generation technologies for resilient massive networks, for renewable energy systems and microgrids, wireless connectivity with a village-based station, and our biggest project yet, the microsatellite program. The EEEI's first technology fair is a venue for us to showcase our research. But more importantly, this is a venue for us to reach out and explore more opportunities for the Institute. With the theme Enhance Industry Academe collaboration to support innovation culture, a culture of innovation, this technology fair is a venue to discuss research directions and human resource requirements. For our industry partners and potential partners, let us explore areas where we can work together and develop technologies or capabilities that will showcase the talent and creativity of Filipinos. Let us also look at how we can work together to develop solutions for the problems affecting our communities. And to support the culture of innovation, we also need to invite our peers from the academe to work with us. The Philippines needs more talented engineers, more than we can provide at EEE. And we look forward to partner with you to develop your faculty, to build your research capability, and to develop specialization courses for your undergraduate programs. Our booths are here. It's like a menu for you to choose a path for your own specialization. We also wish to open more opportunities for you to learn more about our current research, and this is through Prime, an infrastructure bandwidth, an infrastructure gateway that allows us to broadcast what we're doing across the country. But ultimately, if we really want to have a strong innovation culture in the Philippines, we need to have more PhDs. We need more PhDs into our schools and more graduate students into our industry. And we need to work together to make this happen. And to support all these activities, we have our presenters from government, and they also have their booths here, from CHED and DOST, who have an expanded funding to support industry academic collaborations for R&D and faculty immersions both in industry and in academia. The Institute will work closely with you as we seek to expand our engagements with industry and academia. We at the Institute has a simple vision. We want to be the National Institute for Electrical, Electronics, and Computer Engineering here in the Philippines. I think this first technology fair is our initial step in achieving that goal. Today is our initial step to build relationships with you. We are here to talk to you, and we would welcome any of your questions. We need to work together to sustain the culture of innovation in the Philippines. Let's start working today. So with that, thank you very much and welcome to our Tech Fair.
Thank you, Dr. Hizon. So as he mentioned, so this event is an opportunity for us to reach out to industry and further establish the culture of innovation. So next, to give some message in behalf of Dean Rizalina De Leon of the College of Engineering, let's all welcome Dr. Minandro Verana, Associate Dean for Instruction and Research.
Good morning, everyone. It is my honor to convey to you the message of our beloved Dean, Dr. Rizalina De Leon, who is currently on her way to Bangkok to attend a meeting of the AUN CIPNet. Dr. Hizon of the EEEI, Dr. Padolina of CHED Picari, Ms. Mariton Sahagun of DOST, our partners, executives, and representatives of partner industries of the EEEI, Nokia, Xynix, Analog, PHINMA Energy, Artesyn, First Philec, Samsung, Maxim, and other partners, faculty members of the EEEI and other departments and universities who are participating here, mga scholar ng bayan, researchers, ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to all. We at the UP College of Engineering, we have a dream. Our dream is to build a vibrant innovation ecology where partnerships between innovative minds from academe, industry, and government generate enterprises that convert the raw materials from our farms and mines into high-value products. Where the felt needs and threats that our people face every day are addressed by innovative, efficient, and effective technological solutions and mitigations. Our dream is to produce new, maybe even disruptive technologies that will change the way one manages his resources at work, in the farm, in the factories, in school, at home, or even on vacation. This is our dream, but we know we cannot do it alone. We are soberly cognizant of our need to partner with industry and government, and also with collaborators, not only with engineers from our universities, but with natural and social scientists, artists, economists, and experts from other disciplines, if we are to build up this ecosystem. We in the academy can continue to produce engineers and scientists, particularly those with advanced degrees in the name of MS, PhD, Master of Engineering, and Doctor of Engineering degrees. But without this ecosystem, these talents, with the training and the skills to innovate, will either content themselves babysitting imported technologies, or worse, get out of the country. This is why we are especially grateful that you, our guests, have taken the time to come to this technology fair of the EEEI Institute. Perhaps our interaction here can bring about collaborations that will affect the ordinary Buwan in a wonderful way. In closing, I would like to commend and congratulate the EEEI Institute, headed by Dr. Richard Zizon, along with its dynamic and thinking out of the box faculty members, students, and staff for putting up this technology fair as they celebrate their centennial. This may be the first tech fair, but I'm almost certain that this will not be the last. Perhaps it is fitting to wish you more power. Maraming salamat at magandang umaga sa ating lahat.
So, thank you, Dr. Maynard. So, hopefully, when Dr. Rizon talks with Dean De Leon, marami siyang magandang balita sa seminar. Okay, so, our next speaker joined the DOST system in 1990 as a science research specialist 2 under the Philippine Council for Advanced Science and Technology Research and Development, or PCASTR, now the Philippine Council for Industry, Energy, and Emerging Technologies Research and Development, or PHINMA. From then on, she rose from the ranks as Supervising Science Research Specialist to Chief Administrative Officer in 2012. She was appointed as Chief Project Development Officer of the Special Projects Division under the DOST Central Office between 2014 and 2015, and was later appointed to head the Planning and Evaluation Service as Director in November 2016 up to the present. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Miss Maridon Sahabu.
Thank you very much, Franz, for the introduction. Also to see our former boss, my former boss and former secretary of our department, and now executive director of PICARI, Dr. William Matrina, Dr. Richard Hison, Dr. Maynard Verana, partners from the private sector, professors, researchers, students, ladies and gentlemen, magandang umaga po. At the outset, the Secretary Fortunato de la Peña extends his warm greetings and congratulations to UP Electrical and Electronics Engineering Institute for organizing its first technology fair. The Secretary would like very much to be present today and relay this message personally, but he is right now part of the Philippine delegation accompanying the President to Russia, and he's there to sign an agreement with Russian counterpart on peaceful uses of nuclear energy. So thank you for inviting the UST to this auspicious occasion. The Technology Fair is an opportunity to showcase the Institute's research outputs and recognize the expertise and capabilities of its faculty, researchers, and students. I'm sure that all of us here are excited to see the exhibits and attend the technical sessions where new products and technologies that the Institute has developed will be featured. It will also give us a glimpse of the prospects and possible future projects that the Institute will venture in. The DUST is proud of your accomplishments and is very happy to be part of the journey to what the EEEI is now. It has continues to be one of those most active and productive collaborators in the implementation of our projects, as well as recipients of grants for our research and human development programs. As mentioned by Dr. Hison a while ago, the DOS has relied on the Institute to pursue major programs such as the Engineering, Research and Development for Technology or ERDT program, spearheaded by former Dean of the College and now DOS Undersecretary for Research and Development, Dr. Rowena Cristina Guevara, and the establishment of the Philippine Institute for Integrated Circuits or PIIC, which used to be led by Dr. Richard Hison. Again, as mentioned, recent engagement of DOST with the Institute is in the development of our first microsatellite, Pirata 1, with Dr. Joel Marciano, former Dean of the Institute at the helm, and now Director of the DOST Advanced Science and Technology Institute. So we thank the University and EEE for sharing the experts to the DOST. We are also pleased to note that the fair adopted the theme Enhanced Industry-Academe Collaboration to support a culture of innovation. This highlights the importance of partnership in nurturing the innovative capacities of the various players in the science, technology, and innovation ecosystem. This same strategy is also contained in the recently approved Philippine Development Plan for 2017 to 2022. The Philippine Development Plan laid out the foundation towards achieving the 25-year vision dubbed as Ambition 2040, which is stated as follows. By 2040, the Philippines shall be a prosperous, predominantly middle-class society where no one is poor. Our people shall live long and healthy lives, be smart and innovative, and shall live in a high-trust society. Chapter 14 of the PDP is dedicated for vigorously advancing science, technology, and innovation. It highlights the significant role of STI in increasing the country's potential growth and building the foundation for a globally competitive knowledge economy. We are determined to reach the targets identified in the plan, especially for STI, such as increasing our R&D expenditure from the 2013 level of only 0.14% of GDP to 0.5 by the end of 2022, as well as reaching the 300 researchers, scientists, and engineers per million population from the current level of only 270 by the end of the planning period. This is still far from the UNESCO recommended benchmarks, but we have to leapfrog just the same to reach these goals. Thus, we are aggressively pursuing programs to accelerate technology adoption and stimulate innovation in the next 6 years by improving our S&T infrastructure, enhancing R&D capacities of our institutions, especially those in the regions, increasing technology transfer, and strengthening our partnerships with industry and other stakeholders. We will also undertake and provide funding to implement the harmonized national R&D agenda, which articulate the national priorities and guide public investment in R&D. The harmonized national R&D agenda is organized into 5 sectors, namely National Integrated Basic Research, Agriculture, Aquatic, and Natural Resources. Third is Health. Fourth, Industry, Energy, and Emerging Technology. And 5, disaster risk reduction and climate change adaptation. New R&D areas such as artificial intelligence, human security, and S&T for the creative industry, as well as tourism and service sectors will also be pursued. Niche R&D centers in the regions will be established in consultation with academia, industry, and members of Regional Development Council. These centers will serve as venues to strengthen capacity of regional academic institutions and promote regional development. Needless to say, electronics and electrical engineering is essential in realizing the research goals and priorities of each of the sectors identified under the HNRDA. We therefore anticipate that EEEI will be one of the key implementing agencies of many of these researches, as well as in implementing other programs that the DOST will be pursuing the next 5 years. Moreover, while we give premium to research, priority is also given to delivering the results of our researches to target users, whether they are communities, businesses, industry, academia, or to the appropriate government agencies that have the mandate to use the technology to improve public services. Various modalities will be used to deploy these technologies, including strengthening our technology business incubation program. We are also introducing new platforms for collaboration with the private sector through the Business Innovation through S&T program. Under this program, we will provide partial funding to private sectors to enhance their technological capacity to undertake R&D through purchase of high-tech equipment, technology licensing, and acquisition of patent rights. DOST's goal is to ensure that science works for the people and its development will lead to more inclusive and socio-economic development for all. We believe that the value of science, technology, and innovation can only be measured by the solutions it provides for the betterment of our people and the society. To drive these programs, the DOST just recently submitted its 2018 budget proposal to DBM, which is twice that of our 2017 budget. This is an ambitious step, and we are taking bold steps of proposing 100% or even more increase over the previous year's budget, if only to bolster our resolve that investments in science, technology, and innovation is capable of creating wealth and yield concrete and positive results that will make a difference to our society. Moreover, we recognize the importance of partnerships with industry to ensure that innovations produce results that they will value. The presence and participation of representatives from the private sector, specifically ICT companies, is a manifestation of the success of EEEI's building and nurturing viable and effective partnerships. We hope that this collaboration will further prosper and spur domestic innovation, particularly for our industry, including the micro, small, and medium enterprises. Certain partnerships is also vital in EEE's role of developing our S&T human resource pool and producing the country's leaders and movers of STI in the future. Again, let me extend our congratulations to the Institute, May this activity inspire all of us, especially our students and private sector partners, to continue supporting SNT and become advocates of STI. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Sahagun. So of course, we will not reach where we are now if not for DOST. So it's nice to note that DOST is taking bold steps to invest in further research. And we assure you that, well, we are just here, willing to work for us to reach the common goals to serve the society. Okay, so our next speaker became a member of the executive board of the National Academy of Science and Technology and currently the president of the National Academy of Science and Technology. He was a member of the board of directors of the Philippine Institute of Development Studies and Philippine Rice Research Institute. He is currently also senior fellow at the Southeast Asian Regional Center for Graduate Study and Research in Agriculture. He's a member, president and manager of the CHED Technical Working Group for PICARI and the chairman of the board of directors of Euromed Laboratories. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome Dr. William Padulina.
Dr. Berana, Dr. Hison, Ms. Sahagun, the future DOST Secretary, colleagues in the science community, and representatives of the private sector, ladies and gentlemen and friends. I have been asked to represent the Commission on Higher Education for this morning's affair and to just tell you what programs are available that hopefully will enhance the interaction between industry and academe. There are parts of this presentation that are official documents, and there are some parts which are my own opinion. So I would put up a disclaimer at the start to say that this does not necessarily reflect the position of the Commission on Higher Education. You all know that the New World Order is really a knowledge economy. It's technology-driven and not commodity-driven. There is no progress unless you generate new knowledge, and the knowledge intensiveness of a product is determined by the value added and over what it was before. The bottom line is, unless you generate new knowledge, you will not generate new wealth. You can correct corruption, you can kill all the drug addicts, you can balance your budget, but if you don't take care of the universities, you will not be able to create new wealth. This fair is a very auspicious start to send a message to our political leaders that there is such a thing as preserving the capacity of our population to create new knowledge. We recognize the efforts of the Department of Science and Technology and many other government agencies in making sure this capacity is sustained. Higher education, from CHED's viewpoint, is considered the accelerator of innovation and inclusive economic development. Embedded in this particular goal are efforts that will address our national ecosystem for R&D. It is such in a state where there are many constraints. The one-size-fits-all approach of government is hurting R&D. We are being treated like the police department, the fire department, the army, and the rhythm of activities in research is really very, very different. There are also reforms for teaching, reforming our graduate education, support for more PhDs. And I'm so happy for Dr. Hison's goal and dream to produce more PhDs. I was telling him earlier, if we don't watch out, Africa will exceed us in terms of the number of PhDs, because I just read a program that is paid for, supported by the European Union, where all graduate studies coming, or students coming from Africa, are geared towards a doctoral degree, not just a master's degree. I was telling Dr. Hison earlier, kailangan laliman naman natin ang ating kaligayahan. Hindi na pwedeng masters lang. I-advance pa natin to a doctoral degree. Review of National Budget Circular 461. We don't have time to discuss that. Industry-academe collaboration, developing performance indicators, global inter-university research collaboration, and the Philippine Qualifications Framework, which is going to be affected or effected when we are now going to get into the ASEAN economic community, and of course taking care of the disequilibrium created by the K-12 transition. This is the higher education landscape, and I want everyone to understand how it is. The distribution of higher education institutions is dominated by the private sector. This is the number of universities and colleges. But the distribution of students is almost getting to be equal, 54 to 46, in favor of private sector. A total of about 4 million college students. What a treasure. And are we harnessing that treasure well? We don't know. So you have a total of about 1,934 higher education institutions as of school year 2015-2016. With regard to interest of students in pursuing their degrees, this is an undergraduate degree, about, you can see 26% are interested in business and related disciplines, 19% for teacher education, 13% for engineering and technology, and 11% for information technology, 6% for medical and allied professions, and the rest 25%. It is not true that we are producing more lawyers than engineers. As you can see, if you combine IT with engineering and technology, you have around 24% total. This is where we need to do something. Only 12.6% of all faculty members teaching in our colleges and universities have doctoral degrees. And some of them are not even related to what they are teaching. It may be a doctor of educational administration, but they are teaching engineering. Okay? So we need to correct that, because that's the only way we can ensure the quality of our instruction. Still a very high level of instructors with bachelor's degree, and about 40% with master's degree. Higher education as an accelerator of innovation and inclusive development involves upgrading the capacity for directed R&D extension programs to serve socio-economic goals. And these is a very limited list, but I think they're high priority: food security, environmental and disaster risk reduction, marine resources, smart analytics and engineering innovations, health systems, and education for STEAM. Do you know what STEAM is? It's very hot. Science, technology, engineering, agriculture, and mathematics. I don't know why A was inserted because maybe it's important. Part of this is also promoting academe-industry linkages in terms of translating industry needs into their curriculum. So you can see the effort that is being exerted by the Commission to make sure we are able to, since 2012, reinstate BS Meteorology. Is it under your college, meteorology? It's under physics, maybe. Or maybe it's not a separate department. Because IESM. And then you have business analytics, BS entertainment, and multimedia computing. In fact, there was a time when they wanted to institute BS call center. But you laugh at it because it really was ridiculous. And it did not pass the commission. BS in naval architecture and marine engineering. And this is really going to be very critical now because we are under pressure from the European Union on whether our marine engineering and maritime curricula are up to global standards. And we have been given a moratorium, and I think this year is going to be the decision year. Otherwise, all Filipinos that are manning the ships will now have to go through a separate training period, and that means they will be laid off. So we need to really look at all of these issues and opportunities. BS in health informatics. These are all undergraduate degrees. But as I know your question now, who's going to teach them? If we don't have people who are trained in these fields, not only 2 or 3 pages ahead of the students, but with a deeper understanding of the discipline. The current industry-academe partnerships that CHED has been able to monitor in all of the HEIs are on the following: on-the-job training, graduate placement, at an early stage of collaboration in R&D by looking at joint R&D programs, commissioned research. I think the College of Engineering has been able to access this, technology licensing, and spin-off companies. One very interesting facet of the CHED K-12 transition program. What is it? It is really money given by government to take care of faculty members who will no longer have a teaching load because of the institution of grade 11 and 12. No, there are universities which are not accepting any, we do not have freshmen. And that will carry on up to, I think, the year until next year, 2018. So grants have been given for them to pursue higher degrees and also engage in some research, such as the ones here with industry partners, and engage also in the form of highly technical services. So it's an effort to try to get them busy at this time, but hopefully it will just be an initiation and an opportunity to contact private sector and industries, and when they get back to their teaching duties, they now have the connect to possible clients and partners. There are also research and extension grants. You know, the K-12 transition program has a lot of money. It's about 8 billion pesos. And they will now invest, or they are now investing it in institutional development and innovation grants, and discovery, applied research and extension for trans-interdisciplinary opportunities there too. An example of that is a grant given to MSU IIT on the design of a small footprint custom wireless sensor net node integrated circuit for disaster risk reduction. Now, the other big initiative is gearing the Philippine universities for the future. And this is in the form of the Philippine-California Advanced Research Institute project, which I happen to be assigned to manage. This is what the PICARI project is about. It is to enhance the capacity of Philippine HEIs. It is focused on higher education institutions for R&D that translates to technological innovations by addressing societal problems through scholarships and training, research partnerships with highly ranked research universities in California, USA. This is a legislated project. It was not just thought out by CHED. Congress was the one that put it into the budget and put in the particular boundaries, such as dealing only with California. The PICARI project priority areas are in health, innovation, and translational medicine, and information infrastructure development. The partners right now are University of California, Berkeley, University of California, San Francisco, which is the health science campus, University of California, Davis, which is the agriculture campus, University of California, Los Angeles, also quite as highly ranked as Berkeley. Of course, on top of the heap here is Berkeley, which is about number 2 or 3 globally among the universities in the whole world. With regard to the Philippine institutions that are participating, we have Ateneo de Manila, UP, which is getting bulk of the projects, De La Salle University, Mapua Institute of Technology, MSU, National University, TIP, and Centro Escolar. We are open to having other memoranda of agreements with other HEIs, provided they are able to collaborate with California universities. The development concerns addressed by PICARI are the following. Talent development and retention, which is a big issue because we keep developing, but there is also hemorrhage at about, with the figure from the Office of Overseas Filipinos Abroad, 45,000 engineers and technologists leave the country every year. That's a big hemorrhage. And unless we can find ways to retain them, not only to develop them, but to retain them, we will continue to face a severe situation of talent deficit. So we need to continue supporting scholarships, postdoctoral fellowships for people who want to retool. They're already in the faculty. They may want to redirect the research, visiting researcher fellowships, research technicians training, and professionalizing research management and grants administration. The development concerns that we address in the PICARI R&D projects are in energy, some of which you will see later in the exhibits. Transportation, this is focused initially on Metro Manila and in certain parts of Metro Manila. Communication, Village Base Station has been mentioned, but there's also one interesting project on e-participation conducted by the National University. And in health, coming from drugs and water purification. And of course, food security. I thought I would introduce another partner to your scheme, and that is government. I think it is going to be a very healthy partnership if you look at all the three, because there are some discoveries and technologies that you generate that will be useful for government, that will allow for better governance, that will allow for people to be more productive. And these are just some of the societal goals which I thought you might want to address. Technological efficiency, economic efficiency, that's transportation, energy, communication, trade facilitation. We are ranked among the top countries in Europe and America in terms of the number of rejects of food products. Attracting investments, ensuring food security, assuring the quality of human resources, promoting environmental protection, mitigating disasters and hazards, and strengthening national security. I don't know if the College of Engineering is prepared to accept a project for defense that will be funded by the military. That is a very sensitive issue, I suppose, that UP will have to discuss. But I think at some point we may need to help our efforts to make sure our security is ensured. The role of government is really in setting up our science and technology policy. Ms. Sahagun already discussed this very well and covered the 4 issues that I have presented here. And there is also another facet which Ms. Sahagun mentioned, and this is about S&T services, which normally are not given as much attention as R&D, and yet they are very important. For example, the national quality infrastructure is something we have to set up. If you are in the construction business, you probably know the different sizes of steel bars. And if you go to a hardware, they will ask you whether you want the good one or the bad one. And of course, that means our quality infrastructure is not there. Okay? Many of the food ingredients that we are importing, and we are a net importer of food, need to be screened for safety and hygiene. We don't know how they are produced. We don't know whether they are bringing in pathogens that will eventually affect the health and wellness of our people. R&D centers with our highly trained staff, and of course, a predictable legal environment. So, since there will be disputes on IPR, environmental laws, you perhaps know the recent saga under that Secretary Lopez underwent in terms of looking at the mining industry. You can see from here, and I just like to highlight the NQI because this is something I think we need to really step up in terms of attention. There are many points in the NQI that are really technical. And this is one opportunity, I think, for universities to start clearing up. You can set up service laboratories that can accept samples from industry or guide different outfits, manufacturing outfits, on whether they are looking at the proper quality standards. I've always advocated for the fact that there is only one product standard, and that's the global standard. Let us not have a dual system where you have a domestic standard and an export standard. There's only one standard that we need to address, and that's the global standard. Critical concerns: talent development, job skills mismatch. Are we producing the numbers and the quality that we need? The Duterte 10-point agenda needs a lot of technical people. Do we have them in residence? If not, why can't we bring in foreigners and help us in the interim, not in perpetuity, but to just make sure that we are moved up faster. Lack of industry-relevant knowledge that is dependent on the discernment of academe on what industry needs and what industry advises academe in terms of curricular issues. I know there is some constraint here from the Professional Regulation Commission because they fix the boundaries. No one can teach unless he is licensed. Even if he's a Nobel Prize awardee, if he's not licensed, he cannot teach. I think you need to look at that very carefully because that will stymie your efforts to innovate curriculum. And sometimes the innovation timeline is very short. The lead time is very short. You just have to respond. But I don't know how the PRC laws and policies affect it. So what happens is you have a curriculum that is unresponsive to industry needs. The lack of skilled labor still hampers the expansion of foreign firms. And this is an observation way back in 2013 and supported by a statement from former NEDA Director General Balisacan. Lastly, and finally, the quality of instruction in HEIs is generally low. Our passing rates for professional board exams ranges from 34% to 43% in the years 2005 to 2015. And only 10 out of these 38 professional board exams had average passing rates above 60, and only 6 have passing rates above 70. I think we need to address that very carefully. What is worrisome is the preponderance of HEIs, both private and public, with 0 passing rate in many PBEs, indicative of a large number of low-quality HEIs in both public and private sector. This is a study by PIDS, and so it's not contrived, but they have data to show, as you can see, how the trend moves. Strengthening our technology delivery and extension systems needs attention. I think we have to revitalize our agricultural extension network, but since this is an engineering audience, I would suggest that you consider carefully establishing an industrial extension network as well to address the needs of MSMEs so they can access knowledge, a new technology, and they can be advised even in setting up the flow of work in a small shop. I don't know if you have observed decorticating, coconut decorticating shops in the provinces. They're all over. And so sometimes there are accidents, sometimes they mix things needlessly, and the quality of the product is affected. They have to be advised, even if it's a small outfit, on how to position their machineries and rationalize their workflow. It's just a simple way of looking at the problems that they have. Finally, I'd just like to end with a quote from Peter Drucker. The major task in society, and especially in economy, is doing something different rather than doing better what is already being done. I think that's a big challenge for all of us, and I hope that this technology fair and your subsequent discussions this afternoon will trigger higher interest, better commitment and dedication so that we can move this country forward. Maraming salamat po, and all the best to all your future activities.
So thank you very much, Dr. Padrina, for your valuable inputs. So yung mga estudyante, sana nakikinig sila. Ano sabi ni si Dr. Patrina? Don't stop with MS. Tama? Yes? Yes. So you have to pursue higher degree, which is PhD. The question really is not why, but when. Diba? So kailan nga ba? So hopefully after you finish your MS, dire-diretso na. You need that time. So, we appreciate that we have CHED programs that accelerate industry academic interaction. So hopefully we'll get to take advantage of these programs to address the concerns, especially on nabanggit nga brain drain. So that's a really serious problem. And thank you, sir, also for showing us that there's another model, which is the industry, academe, and government model. So I think very, very powerful yung model, and hopefully will be a big part of that solution. Good afternoon once again, and welcome to the EEEI's first ever technology fair. So this event is co-presented with Nokia, with the support of our sponsors PHINMA, Xynix Design, First Philec, Maxim Integrated, Analog Devices, Artesyn, Samsung, EVWealth, Quantel, Sqreem Technologies, and Trident Electronics. Nakakain na ba kayong lahat? So hopefully, busog na po ang lahat. And also, sana po nagkaroon kayo ng opportunity to see the research outputs of EEE's laboratories, as well as the technologies, innovative technologies of our industry partners. So, just as a recap for those who were not able to attend the earlier talk, we had Ms. Maridon Sahagod of DOST, wherein she said that DOST is taking bold steps to invest in research by asking more budget to increase allocation in higher research. Then we also had Dr. William Padolina, Executive Director of PICARI, wherein he stressed the importance of having a pool of PhD graduates. Then he also presented the model of industry, academic, and government linkages, which offer greater potential in generating innovative solutions. So now let's move on to the next exciting part. So we'll have a talk regarding one of the hottest technology trends nowadays. So we have Mr. Lowell Tortona, head of Nokia 5G R&D in the Philippines, to discuss the Internet of Things and 5G. Sir?
Hello. Good afternoon. So first and foremost, I know you guys just came out from lunch, but I wouldn't ask you to stand up and have an exercise, okay? I'd just be asking, what do you know about Nokia? That phone, right? It's a tagline, connecting people. But Nokia is more than that one. Before I actually tell you more things about 5G and IoT, I would like you to, we'll be having a movie. It's actually 2 hours of movies here, movie snippets here. Okay, popcorn, courtesy of, no, the chair himself. Okay, so basically, I'll tell you more about Nokia through this video.
At Nokia, we are innovators of the global nervous system, a seamless fabric of interconnected intelligence that senses and adapts to the world around us. A cognitive, self-learning, self-aware network that fluidly responds, allowing new services and applications to flow without constraint, bringing people and businesses together through secure digital platforms in the global sharing economy, enabling humans and machines to interact instantaneously, intuitively, automating everyday tasks for greater efficiency, for entire industries, for communities, for each of us. In a world where technology choices are ever more complex, we're helping our customers unlock opportunities to deliver new and extraordinary experiences in people's lives each day. We're shaping the future of technology as only Nokia can. with integrity and dependability, creating the most sophisticated technology that's simple and effortless to use, with foundations of privacy, quality, and security. Because we believe technology must serve humankind, not the other way round. That's why we focus on the possibilities of technology, the human possibilities.
So I don't know if you understand what Nokia is doing right now. But based from that one, previously you've seen the tagline connecting people. But now I would want to present to you 5G, IoT, and how will basically 5G expand the human possibilities. Nokia is thinking about touching the lives of every individual. And hot topic right now is actually 5G, not just here in the Philippines, but outside the Philippines. Last December, we had a demo held in our R&D with Smart, where we fire up a 5G network for a short period of time. And IoT right now is a hot topic. There was actually an IoT summit 2 years in a row, 3 years in a row already. And we'll be discussing about this one. Okay? So, what's the main difference between 4G and 5G? 4G LTE. I know right now thankfully, some of our networks upgraded already. I can feel it already. Here in BGC, when I do speed tests, it's already around 20 Mbps, so on and so forth. But when you go outside, Asia Pacific region, Japan, Korea, it's larger throughput. But what's the main difference between the two? Usually when I ask the questions, I usually go down and go to some of our participants. But I know right now that we're time limited. Okay, so in LTE, we're focusing about throughput. It's mobile broadband. So if you have a phone, I know we have Samsung there at the back right now with some of my colleagues. Don't worry, we're partners. Okay, so, but I'm using this one. Sorry, Samsung. Okay, so the cell phones right now, we have Cat 4, Cat 5, where they could actually have 100 Mbps, 150 Mbps theoretically. But that's LTE. LTE provided big throughput in which you could actually enjoy watching videos. I know each and everyone has actually, no, not each and everyone. Majority has an iFlix, Netflix, Hook. What else? What's the music streaming site that you mentioned? Spotify. Sorry, I was still using the tape recorder in my car. So in 5G, it's different. It's about there's a pointer. It's about unlimited experience. If we experience right now 10 Mbps, 20 Mbps, in 5G, target is to have instantaneous 100 Mbps whenever needed. Greater traffic that can actually be handled by the 5G network. But that's not all. It's about instant action as well. Critical machine communication. Because target of 5G is basically industries, personal lives. Right now, there are lots of, what do you call this one? Fitbits and smart watches like this. And all of those things needs to be connected in the internet. So how would you have instant information if you cannot connect to that one instantaneously? And lastly, it's for everything. Some of you guys, I presented already in our office. I told you that one time I was actually passing by Shaw Boulevard. I don't know if you know Shaw Boulevard. And I was driving a car. I'm on a stoplight. And usually when your car stopped there are beggars who are actually knocking the windows. And one beggar knock, a blind one, and you have to knock back to tell them that you won't be giving anything. So you turn around, pick up a phone. That means everyone could actually have a phone. But what surprised me is that pick up the phone and swipe the phone up. Meaning to say, even though that you're blind, that means he's not blind, okay? Even though that any people could already have a smartphones. And each and every individual could actually connect to the internet right now with the promos that our networks are providing at the moment. So I know, not most, okay, all of us are in younger generations, but we experience when we send text messages during Christmas season, New Year, what would happen previously? It cannot send directly to wherever you're sending those things because the network is congested. And that's the reason why 5G is there as well. So for 5G, there are 5 basic principles that we're looking at. The possibilities. There are lots of possibilities connecting it to IoT. So there are explosion of possibilities, new performance levels for people and things. Lot of things interconnected, from automotive to industry to healthcare to shopping and to virtual reality. Samsung at the back says Samsung Galaxy VR. Is that correct? Am I saying that the product, is that product correct? Galaxy VR? And in Japan, when I went to Japan, I was surprised before that there's already holographic kind of technology wherein you can communicate. For example, I'm here at BGC right now, and someone is at UP Diliman, and we could actually communicate via hologram. Now, if you don't have a fast network, if you don't have an instant network, you cannot do that one. So that's one area that we need to focus on. And there are lots of things. Automotive, later on you'll find a video, you'll see a video that you'll be seeing a way going to an autonomous driven cars. And what else? Smart industry. So it's not just about personal things. I know consumers would want to use networks right now to browse Facebook, to have Viber, to have Instagram, to have Twitter, something like that one. But there are lots of things that could actually be, a 5G can be used for. And one of these is actually this one.
Consumer demand for products are variable in terms of quantity and type. This means manufacturing must be flexible enough to accommodate these requirements. A flexible manufacturing system supports human interactions, requires fast, reliable communications to connect production machinery, material handling, and computing systems. Wireless connectivity gives the flexibility to relocate and reconfigure all of these systems across the production line. But that's not all it will enable. These connections will happen on a massive scale, with sensors connected throughout the entire production process to provide real-time monitoring, ensuring seamless continuity of operations. And while it's true that machines, specifically robots, will play an ever-increasing role in our factories, they will be working alongside us humans. Coordination of machines across the production line requires a wireless connection with ultra-low latency and reliability. This reduces product assembly time, increases flexibility, and overall productivity. To increase automation, the real-time control of machines is where 5G will be a game-changer for the industrial sector. Ultra-reliable, low-latency connectivity with edge cloud analytics operating at massive scale is essential in creating the safer, flexible, and more efficient manufacturing systems of the future. We are creating an end-to-end network to enable all kinds of industrial applications. Welcome to the fourth industrial revolution, powered by 5G.
So that's one area that could actually focus on in 5G. We're talking about IoT. And one area of IoT is in connecting each and every machines that we have. So like previously, we only see that one in smartwatches, but this one would be bigger if all the industries out there especially the manufacturing industries, would have such kind of things interconnected with each other through use of 5G network. Aside from that one, it can be, we could actually talk about healthcare. One of the movies that I've mentioned previously during my presentation is actually James Bond. Who here watches James Bond? So the young ones are watching James Bond. Okay, so in what I don't exactly remember what's the title of that movie, but one thing there is that there's an equipment which was actually put on near the heart. It's like an ECG one, and when they saw that the heart is flat-lined already, they pumped the heart immediately, and that's one thing that would actually help us in the future. Another one would basically home and utilities. Those two things, healthcare, home and utilities, smart homes that we're talking about, this one could actually a way forward, a new industry for each and every one. And you can see how.
Mum's lived alone now for around 4 years. We recently upgraded her home to a smart home. It just keeps an eye out for when she most needs it. If her heart rate shows any erratic signs, her doctor is alerted, who then calls her to check up on her.
Hello, Doctor. Thought you might call.
You know, being forgetful happens to us all. I have to admit it maybe happens to Mum a bit more often nowadays. But unlike when I forget something, she doesn't have a busy house to spot a burning bit of toast or a tap left running. It literally turns her oven off if the food begins to burn. Then lets me know.
Hello?
Hi, Mum. You know, I just got a notification your oven's turned off.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm watching Home is Where the Heart Is. Haven't seen it. She's watching that film again. Okay, Mum. As long as you're okay.
Okay, bye.
We know whether it's keeping the house warm, something burning in the oven, or an intruder. The smart home is there to raise an alarm and put it right. It's connected to sensors on the windows, on the doors, and also all-round motion sensors. Nothing makes me more proud than Mum's strength and determination to live alone. I just don't want it to be completely alone.
Night-night, Coco.
Its smart energy feature even remembers to set the thermostat and to turn all the lights out when no one is in the room. Perfect.
And that's one area of IoT that we could actually capitalize on. I know we have a large industry of chip industry here, semiconductor industry. We've met lots of people in Laguna, also in Cavite, who had this kind of chipset. Now I know that this is actually a challenge for each, especially the students out there, or those who are doing research. Aside from joining Nokia, okay, you could actually join Nokia. Our HR is there. So I'm not plugging, by the way. I'm not plugging. What you could actually do, it's better to join Nokia than those people over there. Okay. So, aside from joining Nokia, you could actually do research in robotics. I know some people would love robotics. Say hi. Hi. Okay, so, and some of you guys would want to do lots of research. I've seen lots of research outside. And you can capitalize on these equipments and the network of 5G to interact those equipments. And that's part of IoT. Okay. We have smart home a while ago. What about smart cities? A while ago, traveling, I know that I was surprised that I had a talk just supposedly this morning, and I was surprised that It was this morning. I thought it was in the afternoon today, right now. But when rushing back, I mean, there are lots of, I mean, the traffic was horrendous. Okay, so what if we have smart cities that could actually help us navigate through this traffic? I know we have ways, but don't put it on your dashboard because you're gonna be, I mean, there are lots of MMD. I know that there are no MMD here, okay? So it's okay. So, but don't, just a reminder, put it near the aircon vent, okay? So, smart cities, public safety. So rather than having MMDs, the blue boys, the yellow boys of Makati, the blue boys of Pasig, I don't know the color in QC. So we can have automated way of helping people, ensuring that there's safety around the metropolis. And I was talking actually to the developers of Aguila, the satellite. Diwata, sorry. Diwata 1, now that they're developing Diwata 2. And they're focusing about agriculture. And they mentioned that it's one thing that they can actually do is actually do some not random, but a daily monitoring of each site for 12 minutes. But what if we have these UAVs to help that as well? Not just for 12 minutes, but I know there's a limitation right now with the batteries of this one. He mentioned that there's a research ongoing about lengthening the batteries time span of UAVs, but it's already there, and I'll show you how.
Many industries, from public safety to healthcare to agriculture, are embracing the use of unmanned aerial vehicles, or UAVs. There are limitless ways to use UAVs. They can carry sensors and collect data that through analytics is used for intelligent monitoring. They can be used for search and rescue and for transporting medical supplies to remote locations. They can even carry base stations to rural areas to establish mobile coverage, as Nokia demonstrated recently with UK operator EE. With such growth comes the need to manage UAV traffic carefully. Multiple authorities are responsible for ensuring the safe operation of UAVs in smart cities and other areas. Nokia makes this task easier with its centralized UAV traffic management solution for operators, governments, and public safety organizations. The solution uses the mobile communications network to ensure the full benefits of UAVs can be achieved efficiently, safely, securely, and automatically. The management of conventional manned aircraft depends on highly regulated air traffic control systems. The same must happen for UAVs, and Nokia is actively supporting authorities in their efforts to introduce the necessary legislation and standards. The Nokia UAV traffic management solution is a vital step forwards in creating effective control of UAV streets in the sky. Nokia is expanding the human possibilities of the connected world, on the ground and in the air.
So that's UAV. Sorry, there's no comedy here in the videos that I'm presenting right now. Everything is about Nokia. And not just Nokia, but all the things that's being done IoT-wide by Nokia. So with UAVs right now, and right now it's being used as a toy for children, also as a video camera during weddings. Lots of weddings that I've attended, especially for those, I was the godfather of Chow, and they used, I believe, a UAV there. So with that one, what we're trying to focus on, expanding the human possibilities of technology. With good technology, a good backbone, we could actually help provide more time for the individual, giving back 2 hours a day, with remote access. Right now, we're using cloud. Everyone here more or less have a Google Drive, right? Yes? Yes. Yes. Yes? Yes, okay. So, but when you access a Google Drive, how long does it take for you to download something? Yes, yes. It's downloaded. I'm trying to download, for example, that presentation, 150 MB of presentation. It would take me roughly around how many minutes? But what if, for example, you can have that one instantaneously? So you wouldn't be buying, for example, external hard drive anymore. You can just save it in the cloud, then download those things. And you can actually work anywhere. With a greater technology, greater infrastructure, we provide a better society. Meaning to say, if we have a good latency, later on I'll be discussing about that one, there will be towards automotive driving, there will be zero road fatalities. This was actually researched in the US and in Europe right now. And if we give back 2 hours a day for each and every individual, where do people go after work? We have lots of malls here in Metro Manila. Some European coming here, they were surprised that malls are like mushrooms. I mean, when you go to Europe, there are no malls. Well, there are some malls, but usually they're scattered, similar to BGC, but BGC is actually interconnected right now, but they're scattered. They're surprised that malls are here, and if we give back 2 hours a day, usually either you'll be spending it with your family, watching movie, spending it with your family outside, spending it with your family in your house. So there are lots of things that can be done. And the economy will foster, in a way, because you'll be spending more. You go out to the mall, you have to eat. You go out to the mall, you have to watch cinema. So it's proper spending, a good, what do you call this one? Turnaround of having money and spending money. So in 5G, after talking about possibilities, we have to talk about versatile radio. You guys from EEE would love this one, supposedly, hopefully. So with versatile radio, what I mean is actually we unlock lots of things. We'll be talking about massive MIMO and multi-connectivity. This will be long, so I'll be shortcutting it. I know that we're time pressed right now. We'll talk about slim radio and 1 millisecond radio. Which topic would you like us to discuss? Which one? All? So we'll talk about the multi-connectivity and massive capacity. Can you put out your cell phones? Please put out your cell phones. Tell me what coverage do you have right now? For smart people. There are no smart people? For smart people. Or for people connected in smart network. Okay. 4G, LTE. How about those connected with Globe Telecoms? 4G on LTE also. Okay, so it's good. They're improving. Huh? Everyone is improving. But what if, for example, you go inside the comfort room, we don't know what will be the connection. Okay, so we call that one. So sometimes when we have one transmitter to one transmitter, when you drive, you have to do handovers. Okay, so in handovers, if you do that one, sometimes you lose connection. But and the connection on the other side is only 2G or 3G. So you'll drop with LTE, connect with 3G, and you might be wondering, why is my video buffering? So what if we have multi-connectivity and massive capacity? Multi-connectivity means that you're connected with LTE, connected with centimeter wave for 5G and millimeter wave in 5G. What would happen there? You have instantaneous connection. There would be handovers, but you will maximize the connection between all networks. 2G, 3G, 4G, and 5G. Combine them all, what would be the bandwidth? It will be bigger. And role in engineering, the bigger bandwidth, the bigger bandwidth in terms of frequency, that means more data that you could actually handle. And with that kind of technology, it would be limitless on how we'll be using it. Okay. Multi-connectivity, meaning to say massive capacity, meaning to say if we have limitations in LTE, you can use 3G, you can use 5G, so on and so forth. So there wouldn't be an excuse later on that we cannot send an SMS or we cannot do phone calls because we don't have a reliable network. So that's what we're talking about, reliability. Then slim radio. What does slim radio means? Low cost and power for massive machine type communications. So this is the first time that I saw this slide. So slim radio means that we could actually reform, reuse the current frequencies that's being used right now. For example, in LTE, there's a big buzz last year or early this year about the 700 megahertz frequency. And there are things that we're using, for example, in 2G before with the 900 megahertz, 1800 megahertz. But if we will not be reusing those things, they'll be only 2G specific. 2G meaning to say the biggest bandwidth there is actually 284 kbps. So in Filipino, it's sayang. Sayang. What if we could reuse that one and for example, reuse it in 5G and LTE, then hindi sayang yung frequency na yon. Okay. One more thing is rather than having a complicated modem, with, for example, with the smartwatches, with the IoTs right now, what we could actually do is actually, this doesn't need, for example, a modem that would connect or will have a throughput of 5 Mbps. This one would only use a slim radio, meaning to say it only needs kbps types of throughput. So rather than putting a complicated equipment, reuse in narrowband transmission, reducing power, that would solve the problem right now with smartphones, for example, that you need a power bank every 3 hours or 4 hours if you're a heavy user to charge it. So that's slim radio. So put what radio you would like depending on the needs. If you need a greater capacity, then put a higher end radio. If not, put a lower end radio. And 1 millisecond radio enabling a new generation of latency and critical services. So I hear an alarm, I'll fast track everything. So right now, LTE right now has a latency. You know latency, right? Who here understands things about latency? Only few? It's not being taught at UP? No, latency is like me, I want to talk to our beautiful HR head there, Teng. If I don't have a microphone, I need to go down, go there, and tell her something. Okay. And it would cost me how many seconds? Lower latency, meaning to say the turnaround time would be completely small. Target for us is 1 millisecond. And in this one, with LTE Advanced, device to device, it's 10 milliseconds. In 5G, the target is 1 millisecond. This one is needed. I'll show it to you later on why it would be needed. Then system of systems. With 5G in Nokia, what we're providing is actually an infrastructure for network providers, for operators to build their business on. And part of this one is to have a good network slicing, wherein it depends on what kind of business would be needed. With fast traffic forwarding, and dependability on how mobile that thing is needed to be connected to the network. Network slicing, I know you've heard about NFVs and SDNs. Okay. NFVs and SDNs, you have a group of devices. Depending on the needs, it can be configured in the cloud with the network slices. For example, smartphones and tablets connected, watching in YouTube, watching in Vimeo, watching in Facebook Live right now. And this one can be one network slice. Right now, currently, what's happening is that operators are investing more and more to the equipment, putting it into their data centers for every industry that needs those equipment. That means large investment to operators, and large investment. And that means if there are large investment to the operators, there are actually lots of things that's needed for them to have their return of investments in their pocket. Okay? So what if, for example, everything is in the cloud with 5G, like what I mentioned, instantaneous service? There's no need to do infrastructure here in the Philippines. It can be in the cloud, and we have instantaneous, low latency and big bandwidth. You have you have a cloud drive where you can access it instantaneously. It will be faster for everyone. No need to invest more. Okay. So fast traffic forwarding, lowest latency packet forwarding to UEs. These things is, I don't know if you've heard about Tesla providing automated driven cars. One thing that's limited about those things is that how can we have automated driven cars, autonomous driven cars, if we don't have the proper network? We can have satellites, yes. We can have sensors in front of the cars. The Mitsubishi Montero Sport right now have sensors in front to make sure that it won't bump in front of in front of other vehicles or people, but it's only limited up to a certain distance. So we have to find ways, and one way of providing ways is through this one.
It's about vehicles, it's about safety, it's about communication. Network systems are essential for the future of mobility. In 2013, Nokia introduced mobile edge computing, a technology to reduce the latency in mobile networks and a big step towards connected driving. As official testbeds for automated driving became available, Nokia, together with its partners, launched a program dealing with car-to-car and car-to-infrastructure communication. The main target is to make our streets a safer place. Connected driving is already on its way, and Nokia is contributing to the vision of automated driving. On November 9th, 2015, the achievements of the project were presented on the official digital motorway testbed, the German Autobahn A9. Communication between cars and the central cloud has an end-to-end latency of more than 100 milliseconds all the way up to seconds. Base stations with distributed mobile edge computing cloudlets show an end-to-end latency of below 20 milliseconds. Adding mobile edge computing and geo-service applications to the LTE base stations makes communication much faster. The first use case presented on the testbed is an emergency brake light. Advanced driver assistance systems can only react to the direct surroundings of the vehicle. With connected driving via LTE, cars can now communicate almost in real time over a larger distance and beyond the line of sight. This allows the car to slow down in advance of an upcoming hazard. The second use case is a cooperative passing assistant. Car number 1 indicates for a lane change, while number 2 approaches quickly from behind. Depending on the speed and the distance between the cars, the cloudlet will send a warning to both cars. If a critical distance is underrun, the approaching car receives an alarm to slow down, the other one to keep in lane. Real-time communication allows vehicles to respond to situations that neither the driver's eyes nor the vehicle's sensors could identify otherwise. Today's LTE technology already opened the door to Mobility 4.0. With mobile edge computing, Nokia is implementing the first steps on the way to 5G. The story of connected and automated driving has just begun, and a lot of work is still to be done until we see all the benefits.
So that's actually an experiment R&D that we're doing in Nokia also, partnership with Volkswagen and Bosch. Okay, so a while ago you mentioned about the practicalities. You have to say that it's already here. I mean, like what I mentioned, last December we already have shown that we already have 5G here in the Philippines. Of course, it's not yet enabled in our networks right now, but we're doing it in R&D way, providing proof of concepts, not just here. We're doing it outside the Philippines. We're showcasing it in the American region, Asian, and European region. So, but the equipments are already here, and our customers already saw this one. I'll show it to you later on. Okay, so when will 5G happen? So 2017, this year, we're targeting to provide it broadband to the home, 5G ready, meaning say 1 gigabits per second to the home, and I'll be honest, it won't be here in the Philippines for quite some time. But we'll be targeting this one end of this year in the North American area. 2018, next year, pre-standardization. We're targeting the 2018 Winter Olympics with a 10 gigabits per second peak data rate. So you'll be hearing lots of things about that one. And in 2020, 3GPP compliant. We're in the 2020 games in Europe. We're targeting also the Korean Olympics, Japan Olympics, sorry. Japan Olympics, Tokyo Olympics. Yeah. So with 10 gigabits per second, the difference here is 10 gigabits peak. Here is a peak commercial that can be used by everyone already. That's the roadmap right now. With the potentials right now, with 5G and IoT, there are lots of things that we could actually prepare for. Lots of business models in terms of network and performance, with connectivity, connected home, like what you mentioned, like what you've seen a while ago. We have 2K videos right now, but it's not on the fly. You'll see lots of them, 4K videos on the fly on your mobiles. Information brokering, traffic system, and we have lots of services that could actually be done. Okay. So preparing 5G for commercial reality, to summarize everything with the possibilities, versatile radio, system of system, practicalities and potential, it's there. We have the roadmap, we have the infrastructure right now doing in R&D, and I'll be showing to you
the future of mobile communications is likely to be very different to that which we are used to today. And every consumer and every industry will be affected by the capabilities of 5G. Network speeds of far more than 10 gigabits per second, of virtual zero latency, and ultra reliability are driving forces for a new generation of applications. In April 2015, Nokia showed 10 gigabit speed with the millimeter wave proof of concept system. Today, we are pushing the limits of technology with Nokia 5G centimeter wave proof of concept live over the air. we put the main focus of the centimeter wave concept to carrier frequencies between 3 and 30 gigahertz. That is, wavelengths between 1 and 10 centimeters. This is the expected frequency range where 5G
So this is the BTS, the usual antennas that you see outside.
Nokia CM wave
And this is
concept
a
system,
very nice iPhone
enabling
or
features
Samsung Galaxy
adapted
8.
to multiple different carrier frequencies and antenna types. In our demonstration today, we show live over the air 19 gigabits per second downlink peak data rate at 15 gigahertz carrier frequency. This is an OFDMA-based TDD system with 4 times 100 megahertz component carriers. We have 8x8 line, enabling 8 independent data streams sent between BTS and the UE. Finally, we have 256 QAM modulation, enabling sending of 8 bits of information per modulation symbol. This 19 gigabits per second demo is our first public step in centimeter wave build, measure, learn cycle to bring 5G for people and things everywhere.
So it's not just in Finland that you can see this one. So lastly, it was showcased live here in the Philippines. We used 100 megahertz bandwidth, and we provided 2.5 gigabits per second throughput with that one. What we've shown here is actually the potentials that we have that can be achieved with the current frequencies that we have at the moment. So I know that we're rushing for time right now, and I'll be ending my talk here. In case that you have some questions, please don't hesitate to go there to our booth, or I'll be there in one of the breakout sessions rooms outside. So I'll be happy to accommodate your questions and tell you more about IoTs and 5G in general. So thank you very much and have a wonderful day.